What is going on, world? Welcome back to AquaMalik. Today's video is going to be about group or mixed Pleco tanks, keeping various different species that have different dietary requirements, different water parameters, and different temperature requirements that are highly specialized for various different environments in the same tank together, and why it's not a good idea, and some of the reasons I believe why it's not working and why we're failing as fish keepers when it comes to this particular fish.
Produced by Malik.
Every single person has gone through this, I'm pretty sure. I personally started keeping Plecos in 2010. I lost every single fish that I bought from 2010 till the end of 2012. At the end of 2012, I had not one single fish left to show for all the money that I spent. And I bought a fish almost every weekend, sometimes more than one, usually more often than not, more than one fish of the same type. And I had several different tanks of this mixed Pleco tanks, and I was keep putting them in and keep flushing them out at the end of 2-3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 months, whatever. The longest I had kept Plecos alive at that point was 1 year for my L144 longfin albinos at the time, which were quite expensive, and they were breeding adults. They didn't breed for me, and they did live for 1 year, and I was quite proud I got them to live for 12 whole months without killing them. And even now, after 11 years now later, I just finally got my L144s to breed, and the only reason they're staying alive now is because I don't have them with my hypencestrus. Every time I had them in a tank with my hypencestrus, or in a tank with my angelfish, or my discus, or anything that was getting too much meaty food, they will grow up to a certain size and then they will die. One by one, they all died, and that's because improper diet. So these are some of the issues that arise when you're trying to keep many of these species that are highly specialized together in the same tank. A lot of these animals are very specialized. There's about 3,000 or so loricariids or Plecos or Pleco type animals, about 1,015 described ones that are scientifically described, so 1,015, maybe a little bit more now because it adds up every day. They're finding new ones, or they're describing new ones every day, and they're finding new ones every day as well. 600 plus L numbers, I think, yeah, a little bit over 600, and I think more than 300 to 400 of LDA numbers on top of that. And then you have now, that's about 2,000 fish in total. Then there's also fish that we haven't found yet, that Amazon is not fully discovered all the animals out of the Amazon. So there's animals that still need to be found. And then there's also animals that are described or that are from different locales that have the same L number, for example, that might be all different from each other. So these are all various possibilities, which puts a grand total somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 different animals that are highly specialized for various different habitats. South America is a large continent, and Plecos are found throughout South America. Like from all the way from in the tropics to subtropical areas, there's Plecos, okay? Various different species. So every single one is from a different type of water, or various types of water, and then they might have various temperature requirements. They might have various seasonal requirements. They definitely have various dietary requirements. They're highly specialized with feeding. So all these things factor in, and trying to keep a lot of these different kinds in the same tank, not advisable because of that one reason. Secondarily, if you are going to keep different fish that are from the same genus in the same tank, there's another problem of hybridization. These animals are notorious for hybridizing. Various types of fish from the same genus, for example, all types of hypencestrus can generally hybridize with other types of hypencestrus. Rule of the thumb, if they have the same first name, then don't put them in the same tank because they can't have sex, and they're cousins. You can't have that happen. It's just not good. Like, we'll have a separate video about this. We'll talk about it in more detail, but for the purpose of this video, they can have sex and create babies that are not desirable. Secondarily, based on their dietary requirements, they might not be able to eat or digest large amounts of different types of food. For example, this tank, I'm not feeding too much meaty food for my L56 parancestris, keeping them in mind, and because they can eat some meaty foods, but they cannot eat too much meaty food. They also need to eat a balanced diet, more veg and stuff. a little bit of wood and stuff, so they're getting a variety of different foods. My hypencestrus, on the other hand, need a lot of meaty food to produce eggs. I'm noticing that none of my females are gravid right now. They haven't spawned, as my other hypencestrus in the room are all spawning, but these guys have not. So that amount of change in their diet, it's not even a large change, just the reduction of meaty foods has stopped my hypencestrus in here from spawning, the L401s. But the L56, great, they're spawning. There's spawns in here, there's fry in there. Right, everything is good with them. So that's something short term that I'm noticing in the last 4 or 5 months. Same thing with my L397s and my hypencestrus species, king tiger, Porto de Mas type looking fish, or Porto de Mas fish that are like the king tiger type. And those fish did not spawn this year yet. Usually by this time I would have 1, 2, 3 spawns from them, you know, and they're already seasoned. None of my females are fat and gravid. I can tell my females are not gravid this year yet, which is kind of surprising, but also I know why, because I'm not feeding as much protein into the tank. So that's a short-term effect I'm noticing in that particular scenario, in this particular scenario. It's very short-term, like it's only been 3 to 4 months, and I do have tanks for them that I've already bought, setting them up. You know, once that happens, those guys will get moved into their own tanks and would have less issues at that point. But aside from that, if the animal does have similar dietary requirements, like the hypencestrus species or your Picoltia species that have similar temperature requirements, can live in the same tanks together without too much of an issue. You have to have a lot of structure in there for both species. You have to set up the tank with both species in mind, but feeding wise, you can feed them mostly the same type of food and they will do great as long as the temperature requirements are the same. So the zebra plecos, L46 for example, and your L134s in the same tank, not a good mix because their temperature requirements are very different. But your L134 leopard frog or your Picoltia compta L134, which is your leopard frog pleco, and your L199 hypencestrus furunculus, for example, can successfully live in the same tank together because they have similar dietary requirements. You can also have your Rhino-Loricaria, for example, in the same tank, similar dietary requirements, but your L010A Rhino-Loricaria needs to be a little bit warmer, so if you are trying to breed them, you would predominantly want to have them in a tank that is a little bit warmer than what your L134s and your L199s are in. You know, so these are things to consider. But your Rhino-Loricaria cannot live in your zebra pleco tank. Right now, for example, in my zebra pleco tank, it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's 30 degrees Celsius, or a little bit over. My Rhino-Loricaria at that temperature, they can tolerate it for a few days, but long term, no good. They die. So these are things to consider. So it's not something that you cannot do if well thought out. And if you know what you're doing, that means you've kept animals for a very long time and you've learned your mistakes, you've done a lot of research and you know exactly what difference between carefully selected, yes. But in general, I would say just stick to one species of pleco per tank, and you are going to be so much more happier. You're going to lose way less fish and you're going to have a lot more success with that species. In terms of breeding and all that stuff as well, and it's going to be so much more rewarding because the animals that you are now caring for, your own pets that you love and want to keep alive, are going to live a very long life and reward you with longevity as well as a lot of fry and enjoyment. So that's the bottom line. I think that's all of our goals at the end of the day. I think to keeping these fish is to keep our fish alive, and if that's the goal, then this is the best way to go. Short term, you can keep these animals, you know, quarantined for a few weeks together, or you know, you see them at the pet store together. I'm keeping 2 types in here, you know, a few months. Everything seems to be okay right now, but I'm already noticing detrimental effects for my spawning, at least short term, from this situation, which is not even a drastic issue. They have the same temperature requirements. They have pretty much a lot of the same requirements, except one fish needs a little bit less veg and more meat, and the other fish cannot eat a little bit more meat than it should, and it could die. So these are the 2 little, very subtle difference, right, that causes that. So, you know, it's for the animal's well-being, I think it's more ideal to keep them in their own tanks, and mixed pleco tanks just do not work. And then obviously the aggression aspect of things, where males just forget it. If you have 4 or 5 males of the same similar looking type of fish, as they mature, they will take out each other and you will be left with one fish. Even if you watch Ohio Fish Rescue, I'm pretty sure they had some of the videos, they got a bunch of Pseudocanthicus serratus, and now they have all the Pleco separated because they fight. Because a lot of them were males, probably. And there was some females. I noticed at least one female for sure. Because I saw her and I was like, that's a female. But that fish can only live with one male. It cannot live with 4 males because the 3 males will get killed at that point because the one dominant male does not want to tolerate any of the other fish in the tank. And they're large fish. So it is what it is, unfortunately. So that's the advice I have for you guys in this video. I hope I don't come off as condescending or arrogant. I'm not trying to say any of that or do that. My entire goal through the channel is to help you guys, to help aquarists as well as the fish, so that the fish can live a long life and it's less stressful for you, the aquarist. And I hope I accomplish that through my videos. If you find value, subscribe, hit that notification. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Have any questions, comment below. I'll get back to you in a timely manner. And if you have anything to add to this, comment below. I would love to hear from you, your own experiences, what has worked for you, for how long, and what has not worked for you, for how long, because we're always learning. And my goal is to learn as much as I can every single day, and also to share that with you guys through my channel. Thank you so much for your continued love and support to this channel. If you're not a member and you love my work and you want to see more videos, there will be membership section. So when that happens, join the channel, become a member, help me out make better videos. I did get a new light because you guys helped me out through ad revenues. I want to improve the channel for you guys. So thank you so much for your continued love and support. I'll see you on the next video. I love you all. God bless you.
Produced by Malik.